Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, record this on August 14th at 7:30 at night Pacific time. So thank you for joining me. This morning, when I woke up, my alarm had gone off, and I dozed back off, only to be woken up about 2 minutes later by the garbage trucks running around. Dozed off again, and just as I woke up, because I need to get up and get ready for work, a thought flashed through my mind just as I was in that twilight. Literally between waking up from a dream and becoming conscious, there was that like a split-second sliver where I was in the twilight. And the message I got was they can't overturn the 15th Amendment. Now, a couple of things. One, I don't go walking around the house wondering about the Constitution and all the different amendments and quizzing myself on what that is. I have no idea what the 15th Amendment was. Now, I know what the 14th Amendment Section 3 is because I've talked about it a lot. We know what the Second Amendment is because the guys with the red hats, they never let us forget about the Second Amendment. We know the Fifth Amendment because Donald Trump will use it for the rest of his life. And I think we can all agree that the First Amendment is the most misunderstood amendment of all. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences for what you say. It just means the government is not allowed to retaliate against you for your speech. Okay. The other thing I want to throw out there, besides the fact that I don't constantly obsess over the Constitution, is my guides, I don't hear messages. I don't know. You'll hear Linda G say, I just heard somebody say masks. Or you'll hear people say, they're telling me this. I don't get that. I don't get the visual pictures that Marianne gets. It's different for me. It's kind of just a gut feeling. You know, some of my most intuitive moments is when I've just spouted off like a smart aleck, and then I was right on it. But the other part, I do have predictive dreams. I haven't had them in a long time. But this one felt predictive. The other time recently when that happened, I was waking up and the message I got was Trump is trying to burn it all down. Now, I don't think any one of us would be stunned to think that Donald Trump would want to burn down every norm, pillar of society, and everything else like that. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to burn it all down. But the 15th Amendment one was a curious one. So I got up this morning, and what do? I put on my glasses and I Google, what's the 15th Amendment? Because David's got to know. Let's learn it together, shall we? The 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution ensures that the right to vote cannot be denied or restricted by the United States or any state based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude, meaning former enslavement. This amendment was passed by Congress in 1869, ratified in 1870, as the last of the three Reconstruction Amendments following the Civil War. The purpose was to secure the voting rights of African American men who had recently been freed from slavery by the 13th Amendment. Section 1. Explicitly states that the right to vote will not be denied or abridged based on color or previous condition of servitude. Section 2 grants Congress the power to enforce the article through appropriate legislation. So I'm reading through this, and it's like, okay, makes sense, this is the Second Civil War and stuff like that. We certainly have that North versus South, or at least rural versus urban energy here. But, the part, Congress has the power to enforce the article through appropriate legislation. And when the message is that, they can't get rid of it, it's like, well, yeah, they can't, because it takes, like a 2/3 majority in Congress, both the House and the Senate, and then like 3/4 of the states have to agree to get rid of that amendment, to get rid of the 15th Amendment. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. Then I got to the last part. While the 15th Amendment was a significant milestone in the struggle for civil rights, It's important to note that its implementation was hampered for decades by discriminatory practices such as poll taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation tactics, particularly in the southern states. It wasn't until the passage of the Voting Rights Act in 1965 that its protections were more fully realized. What did the Republicans just not pass? It was the John Lewis Act. The John Lewis Act was not approved due to lack of sufficient votes in the Senate to overcome a filibuster. Republican opposition. Most Republican senators have opposed the John Lewis Voting Act, arguing that it's an unnecessary federal overreach into state-run elections and a partisan effort by Democrats. They contend that the conditions that necessitated the original Voting Act in the 1960s no longer exist, citing current voter turnout and registration numbers. A central component of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is the restoration of preclearance, a requirement for states and localities with a history of voter discrimination, looking at you in the southern states, to get federal approval for changes to their voting laws before implementation. This provision was effectively eliminated by the Supreme Court's 2013 in Shelby County versus Holder, which deemed the formula for determining which jurisdictions were subject to preclearance is outdated. So, that's what we're fighting up against here. Now, we don't need that anymore. So what are the states doing? Well, they've been gerrymandering, which is outside, I guess, the John Lewis Votes Act. But now, remember Florida? You had to wait outside and nobody could give you water. And they stuck down, they're discouraging early voting and mail-in voting and ballot boxes. They want you to stand in line. And in blue counties, they're shutting down a lot of voting centers so that the lines are hours long. This is the type of stuff. They may not be able to get a poll tax or a literacy test in there, but they can make things as difficult and inconvenient as possible so people aren't motivated to vote. It's voter suppression. That's what the Republicans are doing. It's right in our face. And we've seen it, but it's a coordinated effort. They're not doing it just to be cruel or jerks. They're doing it because they know it works. They know that their folks will come out and our folks will be suppressed. And they will do it in the areas where there are more blue voters than red voters to try and suppress that. Okay, so that's sorry for the long intro, but that's going to be the focus of this reading is the general energy around voter suppression and the Voting Rights Act that the Republicans appear to be fighting. Okay, this will be for entertainment purposes only. Tell me a little bit about the message you gave me this morning that they can't overturn the 15th Amendment. Heartbreaking betrayals because they can't, but they really want to. This is heartbreaking betrayal, literally trying to go back to slavery. I make the joke about they want to go back to the 50s. We just don't know which century. They at least want to get back to the 1850s. Not just the 1950s, the 1850s, and then they'll go back from there. Crossed by the Emperor. It's funny, we made this country against kings, and yet what these folks want to do is prevent people from voting, which is creating a de facto king. And underneath is the moon card. Part of the problem is the king that we currently have now is crazy. He's loopy as a loon, and I think that's hindering the Republicans' ability to do this. In the past, you got the Eight of Swords. Republicans are stuck. Their policies are not popular. So, in the past, they relied on voter restrictions to get to prevent people from voting. And then the John Lewis Act or the Voting Rights Act was passed. 15th Amendment. No, the 15th Amendment was passed. Then they had to do workarounds to prevent people from voting with that. And then the Voting Rights Act in 1965 knocked those down. Current situation, King of Wands. Now we have a Justice Department. This has been a card for the Justice Department. Now we have a Justice Department that doesn't want to go after that. We have a Congress that doesn't want to reinitiate the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. It's not needed. The states are fine. It's outdated. No, it's not. We've watched what the Republicans are doing. It's every bit a violation of that act. Overarching energy is the Six of Coins. It's done purposely to impact poor people. If we're going to fight it, we need to take action, and it's going to require donations of time or resources so that people can get out and vote. Lesson to be learned is the Ten of Swords. They will kill it. They will do everything they can to stop people from voting. Absolutely, they will. So we have to fight. This is their goal. We can fight this and win because, well, it's illegal. Even if the Supreme Court wants to overturn some rulings that were enforcing the Voting Rights Act, we've got the advantage on it. It's not an unpopular bill. I'm assuming it's a popular bill, but it's certainly not unpopular. What will Republicans do to try and circumvent the 15th Amendment? We've already seen it. I gave it to you in the intro, but let's see if we can get some a vibe on their current strategies here. I imagine all we have to do, if I looked up Project 2025 and looked up voting, I'm sure we would find everything that I'm reading on right now. Nine of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, is that mercenaries? Moving forward the vote, moving votes. Knight of Swords. I can't put in a poll tax. They're moving forward with the votes, but they're being challenged by a crusader. We'll see what that means. And underneath is the Nine of Wands. They know they need to do stuff with the voting. They also know they're running out of time because the election's just around the corner. And I think what's against them is the Democrats have built up a head of steam. Why? Because Republican values suck. They suck, they suck, they suck. I'm going to pause just for a second. Okay. Looking it up. Common Cause, Voting Rights Act, and the National Voter Registration Act work together to protect the freedom to vote. Both laws were designed to stop those who may try to suppress the vote. But Project 2025 would weaken enforcement of both laws by stripping the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, which is responsible for enforcing the VRA and NVRA. Project 2025 would make simple mistakes in the voting process criminal offenses. This move criminalizes voter registration and ballot correction mistakes and opens the door to sham investigations and aggressive prosecutions of voters and election officials. It also gives federal government access to state voter rolls. This allows the administration to disenfranchise voters by aggressively purging voter rolls, a growing voter suppression tactic. We've seen it all the time in the last couple of elections. How does it impact disinformation? Project 2025 aims to derail efforts to stop election disinformation. The Project 2025 would restructure the FBI, including the mandate to prohibit the agency from engaging in activities related to combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation by Americans who are not tied to any plausible criminal activity. In other words, Project 2025 would prevent the federal government from identifying and flagging false narratives designed to mislead the public and convey those narratives to social media platforms. Propaganda. This includes false narratives perpetuated by Russia, China, or Iran. It also dismantles the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency. Do you see this? I said that last one with the King of Wands. There's my Department of Justice. Here we go. Back down. Project 2025. Republicans are trying to do things with the vote. The Democrats have momentum on their side, though. And the Republicans know they're running out of time. In the past, the Seven of Wands. We're fighting their efforts. They've been putting their efforts in place, and they've had some success with it, but we've also been fighting those efforts. Certainly knocking down the John Lewis Voter Rights Act does give them some leeway to move about. Current situation is the Five of Cups. They're suppressing the votes. They're putting things in place, but they can't do it fast enough or effectively enough. They can get some things in place, but other things they just can't. They can't get to it. This might be a competence issue. Overarching energy. It's so much harder to rig the vote than it looks, and part of it because we have protections in place to prevent that from happening. We probably also have government officials that slow walk things that would speed up this process. Bureaucracy works both ways. In this case, it may slow down their efforts to change the vote. The lesson to be learned is the government. I was just talking about bureaucracy. The government's big and it's complex, and there's a lot of safeguards in it. It slows down government efficiency in the speed with which the government does things. But there's a reason for that, because if things are wrong, it gives time to correct it. It doesn't help that Elon's out there laying a bunch of people off, understaffing the government. So even if they wanted to get stuff done, they don't even have the people in place to do it. Outcome, 10 of Coins. Qualifier, what's a clarifier on that? They're restricted. I was going to say, is this a raining votes? Are they getting all the votes? No, they're not. I think in the end of the day, I don't think this is a legacy like, America, we fight back and we win. I don't think it's that. I think it's that they still have to rely on money to get the things done that they want to get done. And they're restricted by that. The money's not there. And Temperance. It could, I'm sorry. Let me try again. It's the economy, stupid. They're hamstrung. They voted for the bill, big beautiful bill. The big beautiful bill is going to hamstring them, and it's kind of the Kool-Aid that they poured. Drink this. We insist, and people don't like it. They are going to be screwed over by the economy. All the voter suppression tactics in the world aren't going to stop them when people are so angry they get out and vote against them. They won't have the support, and people will be voting against them. Spirit, what else should we know about the 15th Amendment and the Republicans' attack on the 15th Amendment? What else can you share with the audience here? I realize this isn't the juiciest of readings compared to, what crazy stuff, distraction has Trump done this time. But this is just one of those ones I feel is important that we look at. Simply because I got the message this morning, so let's dig in. What other message do you want to let us know? 7 cards and we'll wrap it up. 4 Swords. Calming down, contemplation, things going quiet. Wheel of Fortune, karma, let the thing go through. And there's the 10 of Coins again. I think this is just saying we can relax. There's not much you can do about it at this point. That time is going to come. Let the soup simmer. Let this thing come together. Underneath it all, whatever this 10 of Coins is, whether this is the economy having problems, people's finances aren't well, or America has this great lineage of voting and we're going to maintain that lineage of voting. I'm not sure what that's going to mean, but I think Spirit's just saying relax and let it go. Things are moving quickly. Things are changing quickly. It's important that you relax. What looks dire today may not be so bad in the future. I think there's also just kind of a just desserts with this, especially if I get that temperance card again. Our democracy is stronger than we know. Not saying trust the democracy, but trust the strength of the American people to resist having our rights taken away. Overarching energy is the world card. And here we go. They're saying let the soup simmer. It will end. That we will bring this to a conclusion. Whatever is happening is going to come to a conclusion here. Lesson to be learned. They will probably be somewhat successful in restricting votes, but it's probably no more successful than they already do. You know what I mean? They already restrict the votes. They already do the things with the voter rolls. They already gerrymander. They already try and screw over the Democrats. It's like they've done all this stuff. They've run out of tricks. You know, they can only just repeat what they've already done, and we're still outvoting them. And that was before the economy started going bad. Outcome's going to be the high priestess. I think we're going to be wiser for this. We'll get through this. We'll be wiser for it. There's probably answers to questions. The answer to this question is to come. You know, it's like, can't tell you now. The answer's there. I don't think it's a bad answer. I just think it's too soon to know. Now, do I like that? No. Whole point of this channel is to try and get those answers. And it's frustrating when, oh, the answer's, no, you just wait. It'll come to you. Impatient. Want to know now. Make scary thing go away. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure people, like-minded people, are registered to vote. Don't let people get discouraged from voting. All the anger and anxiety that you feel can be alleviated by voting. If voting was unimportant, they wouldn't try to suppress your vote. This is not a done deal. We were worried that they weren't going to have votes in the 2026 election, like they were going to cancel it. Well, they're doing a lot of stuff to make sure that they win more seats in 2026. And that tells you that they can't cancel the election. And the fact that they're trying to cheat with both hands lets you know that they know they're in a bad way. And they're cheating now, and they're cheating in public for everybody to see. It gets really hard to deny, to the point where, Gavin Newsom is absolutely trolling Donald Trump. If you haven't seen it, you should Google, Gavin Newsom Twitter trolling Trump or something along those lines. He has put out a set of tweets on Twitter in Donald Trump's style, talking about California's big, beautiful voter maps. And he gave Donald Trump until August 10th or 11th to respond to call Texas off from redistricting, or else he was going to face dire consequences. And he was giving countdown, Donald Trump has one more day to do the right thing. And, this is his second to last warning. The next one will be the last one. It was hilarious because he was using Trump's own words and his style of writing to troll him. It was glorious. If you've seen Trump's posts, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying I would vote for Newsom for president. Well, I'd vote for him over Trump for sure. I'm kind of a mixed bag with him. Some things he does I think are really awesome. Some things he does that really irritate the hell out of me. But standing up and being intelligent and trolling people in an intelligent way, in a mocking way, oh, he does it really well. Oh, pearl clutching fun. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.